YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you for the love, for the support. I appreciate all of your support. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut a tulip sleeve. So this sleeve is getting a little bit trendy again. So it's a very simple process. It's a very simple sleeve, and it can give, and you can use it for any garment of your choice. So today I'm going to be showing you how to actually cut and sew this tulip cap sleeve. Okay, so you can use it for any other pattern. That's if you don't want to cut it as a cap sleeve, you can still follow this process and cut it as a long sleeve or a 3/4 sleeve. Okay, so before we start, okay, so before I continue, if you want to register for my online classes, you can see my number scrolling through the screen. You can send me a message on WhatsApp, and then I'll give you the details of the classes that we have available presently. Okay, so this is the fabric that I'm going to be using, but first I'll draft it on a pattern paper just to so that I'll be able to alter it however I want to. So I did one earlier on, and it came out very fine. So you can, so with that you'll be able to alter it to however you want to alter it if you are doing it on a pattern paper before transferring to your fabric. So I've folded my fabric into two, okay, my pattern paper rather, into two. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to measure. So for the sleeve you are going to, so my round armhole is 9 inches. So I'll fold my fabric at maybe 9.5 or 9.5 or 10 inches, just for me to check it. I'm going to check it, okay? So the next thing I'll do, just a very simple way of drafting a sleeve. So I'm just going to I'll come to this point like this now. From this point, I'm going to measure 5 inches. So this is my 5 inches. I'm going to mark the 5 inches like this. And then from this point, I'll just use my pattern curve just to create like an arc. I'm trying to get it properly. So I'll create like an arc into that point. So from this point, I'm going to measure my round sleeve measurement. That's my bicep area. That's the top part of my sleeve. So that part is 16. So because it's folded into two, I'll make it 8 inches. So from this point like this, I'm just going to mark this. So this is just like a very simple way of drafting a sleeve. And then the next thing, I'll measure the length now of my sleeve. So it depends on how many inches you want to use for your sleeve. So I'll use about 9 inches plus the allowance is added to it. So after stitching, it's going to come to like 8 inches. So I'll mark it like this, and then I'll mark my round sleeve measurement now on this down part. So the round sleeve that I'm using 11 inches. So that's 5, because my fabric is folded into two, that's 5.5. So I'll mark it like this. So this is just like a simple way. So after cutting everything, I'm going to reduce the front pattern. That's the front sleeve. I'm going to reduce it a little bit. But now I'm going to just cut this out now. So you see my sleeve. It's very simple. Simple way of cutting a cap sleeve. So the next thing, I'll just duplicate this. I'll cut out another one. Okay, so I've cut out my sleeve. So this is my sleeve now. So I'm going to mark the center part. So I'm just going to put lines on it just to make it easier so you understand. So this is the center of my sleeve. I'll mark this one also on the right side. This is the center also because it is very important. I'll keep this. So we're going to work with this. So for this, you are going to determine how much curve you want to add. So that one it depends on what you want. You understand? So you are going to determine. So you can decide to take from this point to this point. As you can decide to measure this point, and then once you get to the center, you cut from that point. So you can just measure this. So this is the center. So from the center, you can just decide this is the center. So from this part, you can just decide to curve it. Either you curve it to the center, or you curve it maybe 1 inch a little bit inwards. You understand? So it depends on what you want. So from this center, you can decide to just create like a curve like this to this point. So for here, depends on how the part that it is lapping, depends on how high you want it to be. You can come up by 1 inch. You understand? You can decide to like, okay, let it come up like this by 1 inch and then end 1 inch after the half cut line. That's after the center line of the sleeve. So you can decide to do this. So we're going to try them out first. So since we're using a pattern, we'll try them out. So if you are using this, or you can decide to like, okay, if you want the one that curves very well, I'm not going to use half of this part. I'm going to come to the center part of my sleeve, and then I'm going to measure like 2 inches or 3 inches. Do you understand? So this is 3 inches from my center part of my sleeve. And so from this point like this, I'm just going to create a curve. So on this part, from here to here, I use 1 inch. So for this part, because I want it to lap very well, I'm going to use about 2.5 inches. So from this part, I'm going to curve it, let it come into this part. So this part now, also, that's after the half cut line. I'm using about 2 inches also. This one was 1 inch, so this is 2 inch. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to use my pattern curve to curve them out nicely. So this is the first one, this is the second one. So we're going to determine, after cutting, we'll take a look at it and then we'll choose which is better. So I'm going to take, so this is the other part of my fabric. So this is the right side. This part that I marked is my right side. So I'm just going to place them together. It's better. You can decide, you can cut it one, or you can decide to cut both of them together. So I'm going to just place them like this, and then I'm going to cut out the first one. Let's see. If the curve is not fine, then we'll cut again. So you're just going to take that out. So after taking it out, so this is your center. This is your center part. So this part is really key. You understand? Because if you miss it, the sleeve will not have shape. So at the end of the day, when you place it together, so you see how it's going to look like. So you see the cap sleeve. So you see the curve on this down part. So I hope you can see it. So you see that the curve on this down part, this one that we use 1 inch from the down, is not very obvious. You understand? So I think we'll use the second cut. Okay. So for this second cut, I'm just going to place them again the same way we placed them before. Make sure that they are facing each other directly like that. So this is the wrong side, facing the wrong side of this one. Just place them together like that. And then we're going to cut out the second one and see. So after cutting, so this is our center front. Take note. Place them together. So I think this is better. So you can see. So I think this is better. So at the end of the day, so you see how the sleeve is going to look like. So this one, the curve came out more. If you want it higher, you can go as much. You understand? You can come up more. So I think I'm going to use this pattern to cut. Why I'm going to use this pattern is after sewing and turning, it's going to still come up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fold my fabric into four, because I'm going to use the same fabric to line it. So I'll just cut all of them at once. It's better that way. And then I'm going to take this like this. You have to be careful here so you don't spoil everything. Because if they are not well cut. Please, before you continue, this center front, just add a notch to it. Add a notch. So you know that that's the center where it will terminate itself. So you notch it on that top and then notch it at the down front also. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and stitch them together. So the sleeve is going to be like this. So you see, that is why you need the notch. So it will help you up here and then help you down here. So if you feel that your sleeve is not curvy enough, you can change it. So the next thing, we're just going to go and sew them. Just pick one and then sew it on this down part like this. Because you know this part is where it's going to, this is where it's going to terminate. So this is your armhole. This is your armhole point. So this part, you don't need to sew this part. So the only part you are going to sew is this down part. So you take this back now to your machine and then sew this part and then turn and iron. So I'll do the same thing to this one. So these ones, they are facing each other, right? So when I come back, that is when we will now stitch both of them together. Okay, so I finished stitching. So I just realized and something. This sleeve can be confusing if you did not notch all of your points. Do you understand? It's going to really confuse you. So you have to notch them. So when you notch them, this will help you to it will serve as guide for you. Okay. So I finished stitching. So you see both of them, they are looking like the same. So I'll just take it like this. So this is the down part of my sleeve. So this is the notch part. So because this is the notch part, I know that this is the center part of my sleeve. You understand? So I'm just going to take the second notch part and then I'm going to match it to this notch part like this. I match it. So once I match it, this is the center of my sleeve. So you can see the line on the center of the sleeve. So you see the sleeve is making sense. So this is my armhole point now. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is just for me to take it to my machine and then secure here. After securing it down, you fold it like this. So you see that it's looking like your normal sleeve now. And then from this point, you measure your round sleeve measurement. And then you take your sleeve measurement and you join the side of your sleeve. So that's what I'm going to go and do. And then I'll show you how it is looking. Okay, so at the end of the day, so you see how the sleeve is looking like. So like I said, if you want this part, if you want it to be higher, so you are just going to increase from the measurement that I used. You're just going to increase it a little bit up. So once you increase it up, the more you go up, the higher you go, the more curve, as in the more obvious it's going to be. So and then if you want, like mine, I made the down part a little bit fitted. If you want it to open a bit more, so you are going to increase your round sleeve measurement, just make it a little bit bigger, and then you stitch. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did with this video. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. If you want to